competitive coding sites. Are they a waste of time? Today's topic on the RealToughCandy live stream. Back on track. It's another live. Happy Easter to everyone. Hope you're doing well on this Sunday. We already have an audience at the door ready to come in and speak their piece on this topic. This is a kind of a controversial one. HackerRank, Code Wars, LeetCode. There are many others. I'm actually working on an article I have like 11 HackerRank alternatives because apparently that's a thing that a lot of people want. Are these a waste of time though? Getting the point, solving algorithms, algorithm after algorithm, going for the gold and trying to land that Google interview. Do these sites even help? Are they helping juniors? We're going to do a roll call and then we're going to talk all about it. Hope you're doing well today. Before a roll call, I just got to plug this. Namood was singing that Limp Bizkit song before the live. I did it all for the JavaScript. What? Stickers? Of course. We've got your all-around classic model, the Hacker hoodie, available in many colors. We also have t-shirts. What coder's wardrobe would be complete without the classic heather gray? Lots of designs, I even have leotards for the leotard wearer in your life over at CandyScript, which is my Teespring store. Our mod Paradoodly-Doo is going to pop that link right about now. Thank you, Paradoodly, for being an awesome mod. Paradoodly's really been rocking it lately, so shout out to her. She's on her 3rd week of learning how to code, and she's learning all the terminology and all about the coder lifestyle, the developer lifestyle through the chat. So, whoa, look at all these comments. Michael Kornblum, what is going on? We have another mod with Michael. Donovan is here. Hey, Donovan. Muhammad, what is going on? Double Rover, Mina, hello, Alex, Pop K, Dodge, Sundeep, how are you? Paradoodly in the chat. Xavier says, hyper relevant to me now. Thanks, RTC. Furloughed last Monday and on the NYC job market now. So this will give perspective. I'm sorry to hear that. Not good right now for a lot of people as far as the furloughs and the layoffs. So I wish you the best. Who else is in the chat? Jovan, how's it going? Gabrielle? Wow, a lot of people here. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to get to it. I have to give a shout out to Sammy Turner, though. Sammy is the latest patron over at patreon.com/RealToughCandy. Thank you so much, Sammy, for your support. You have joined a great group of people who have contributed financially to keep this channel moving forward and helping people level up on their coding journey. All right, without further ado, are competitive coding sites worth it? Are they a waste of time? If you're an aspiring or junior developer, for most of us, these are going to be a waste of time. Here's why. Interview prep is a cottage industry and it's very lucrative. We have a lot of people with their sites on Google, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, other Fortune 50s, we'll just say Fortune 500, these huge companies, but mostly the FANGs. There's a lot of buzz around that. There's a lot of money in that. This book, Cracking the Coding Interview, which is pretty much a book version of HackerRank. It's a book version of LeetCode, and it is a Java version of Code Wars. This book is searched over 40,000 times a month on Google, according to my SEO tools. And these are paid tools. These aren't piddly, just side-of-the-road tools. Like, I pay money for this stuff to research and do competitive analysis and do all this other SEO research. This book is searched 40,000 times a month, just on Google. There's a lot of money to be made in these prep materials. The reality is, most junior developer, Google doesn't hire juniors, just blanket statement. There are teeny tiny exceptions. If you graduated from an Ivy League university and show exceptional promise in the coding interview, you may have a chance. But for most of us, for the general coding population, Google and Amazon and those the FANG tier, they're not hiring juniors. And the thing is with these sites, they really emphasize that these questions are plucked from the FANGs. Again, the FANG, F-A-A-N-G, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google. Throw in Microsoft, probably throw in GitHub, throw in some startups who are copying Google. But that's what the FANG is, the FANG tier. And we have seen more and more over the years these startups copy this interview style of coding challenges from Google, from Amazon, from the FANGs. So this does cater to a very small segment of employers. The vast majority of us, even for those of us who do dream of working at a FANG, and I am absolutely pro-employment. If you have your sight set on working at Google, I'm all about it. Totally. Like, I am not anti-algorithm. I'm not anti-Google or anything like that. Like, wherever people want to work, I support that. But we also have to be realistic about their hiring practices. It's good to have dreams, but in order for that dream to be a goal, it has to be realistic. And when you sink a lot of time into these sites, LeetCode, HackerRank, where they're providing problems from certain jobs, from certain companies, that's an opportunity cost. And that's something I talked about in the video I did a few months ago called Cracking the Coding Interview. Paradoodly, if people want to check that video out, I won't rehash the whole thing, but basically what I was saying is stuff like this, these interview prep sites are great for people who have their eyes on a FANG. But for most juniors and for most aspiring developers, heck, even a lot of mid-level and seniors, they're a real time sink, and there's an opportunity cost there, and that is the real problem. These sites do have value, and in fact, I'm signed up. Like, I registered with HackerRank. I don't have a verified account with LeetCode. We're going to go over some of these problems. There's a really interesting article here we're going to check out real soon. This person did 600 LeetCode problems in 1 year. And then he published all of these. He published his article, and he has all these graphs and all these different visualizations and stuff. We'll check that out in just a minute. But there is such an opportunity cost for most of us when we're doing these things. And I want to point out just how ridiculous this can get. We're going to go to Code Wars. Now, Code Wars is one of those, I think it's kind of a cool site. They do these things called kata. And they have, one of the things I do think is really cool about this site is that their additional languages are out of this world. They have stuff that's so obscure. Like, they have your biggies. They have Python, JavaScript, and all this, even Kotlin. But Julia, PureScript, Prolog, Fortran, doing challenges in those kinds of Visual Basic, they have one for VB. So, but I just want to illustrate, like, this is the mindset that some of these prep sites are coming from. They're coming from a certain angle. Let's go to JavaScript. So I couldn't even, if I wanted to join, this is what it showed me. To join, you must first prove your skills. Choose your language to begin. Let's do JavaScript. Now, I can't even join the site until I prove my worth by solving this problem, right? So the question is, the problem statement is, the code does not execute properly. Try to figure out why. Now, some of us probably know the answer to this. I could probably do a little console.log action up here and then return A times B. But let's say I didn't know how to solve this. What's the first thing you do when you don't know how to solve a trivial problem in coding? You mother freaking Google it, right? Like, that is just what's so silly about this interview style to me, is that while it is a filtering tool, when we're on the job and we don't know how to figure something out that's trivial, like the syntax for Bootstrap or something, we freaking Google it. So I don't have to think about this for a half hour, like, if A times B, could I do a console? I don't know, maybe I'll do another function and OOP, some kind of paradigm. Look, the answer is right here. This is the most efficient way for me to solve a problem when I don't know the answer. Let's say I just didn't know the answer. Look at that. Wait a minute. Come on. Oops. Wrong one. Wrong one. Even still, this is faster than me pulling my hair out thinking, How do I solve this? I think this is, take this one out. This is a complete copy paste job. I thought nothing. Look at that, and I passed. And now I can sign up. And this is the exact type of thing that we see in the FANG level interviews. And the reason they can do this kind of stuff at the interview, the reason they do this kind of stuff at the interview is because there's a lot of dolphins who will jump through that hoop. You know what I'm saying? They said do XYZ, there's going to be a lot of people doing XYZ. And that way they can filter out more and more. Okay, instead of doing XYZ, do XYZ ABC. And then that filters out more people. And so that helps the company filter through all these candidates before your typical dev job. If your first job is going to be at a digital agency, a WordPress shop, any MAPA.net shop in the Midwest, the vast majority of employers, first of all, I don't think a lot of, where do I even want to go with this? The vast majority of employers aren't looking for this kind of employee. And so again, for some people, these competitive coding sites, with these algorithmic questions, with these random coding challenges, they do have value. And that is, if they have value, number one, if you just are bored and you want to do something with your time. However, if you're searching for a job that is, at that point, probably a time sink and probably a huge opportunity cost, because those 2 hours you spent cranking through LeetCode problems, let's just check out some problems here, and then I'll go back to this blog post. The 2 hours you spend cranking out problems ranging from the longest common prefix to valid parentheses to merge two sorted lists to, oh my God, rotating a 2D matrix 90 degrees counterclockwise, that's time you could have spent working on your portfolio. That's time you could have spent studying ES6 and more practical things. And that way you do hone your problem solving process. These sites don't teach you how to code. They don't teach you how to problem solve. In fact, I think for a lot of us, they might make the situation even worse, because when we get frustrated with one of these trivial and these are all trivial and they're not really problems. They're not unique problems because they've been solved literally millions of times before. They're not novel. So you can change this is a playground for LeetCode. And this is pretty rad, right? Like in and of itself, these coding playgrounds are pretty cool. Look at all these languages: C++, Java, Python, Python 3, C, blah, blah, blah. Rust, that's pretty cool, PHP. So this question, this is the zigzag conversion challenge on LeetCode. This is a medium problem. And you have your little Facebook style metrics here. 4,000 people plus are like, yeah, up yours, this problem sucks. About 1,500 people are like, yeah, this problem's great. Is that what I'm to interpret from these likes and dislikes? Or is that how many people failed it versus got it right? I don't know. But look at this. This problem has been attempted over 1 million times, 1.2 million times. Now compare that, how much, you have to ask yourself, how much am I learning from this? If you're a junior or an aspiring developer, you have to ask yourself, the 45 minutes I spend trying to solve this, I may feel some satisfaction, I may crank through it, I also might Google it, but how much more could you get out of your time if you were working on a personal project to put in your portfolio? Huge opportunity cost. We have the solution here. So yeah, I mean, you guys are getting my point, right? Let's go to this blog post. I'll show you this guy who did 600 of these in a year. And okay, so this was posted just 3 days ago. A lot of upvotes here. So people are like, yeah, good for you, 600 problems in 1 year, whoop, whoop. So this is from Leetcode Central. This is 26,000 views. This is already blowing up. This is what this guy says. I wanted to share with you my progress in 1 year. My first submission to LeetCode was 1 year ago when I got an invitation to Google's phone interview. Google. My friend suggested I start solving the problems from LeetCode since a majority of the problems will be similar to them. I prepared for a month and a half and failed that interview. After that, I realized my level is not as good as needed and decided to solve more problems from LeetCode. Initially, I was planning to prepare 1 year. 1 year. 1 year and solve 1,000 problems. However, I was able to solve only 600 problems. First, I start solving the easy problems. Then I switch to medium. Now I'm only solving medium. And in the future, I want to solve only the hard problems. So here's one of his many graphics in this article. 51% of the LeetCode 600 problems he has not solved. 24% were easy, blah, 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 etc. Here is his time. He spent 231 hours in 1 year. He solved 691 problems, where 91 problems were from code forces and 600 from LeetCode. So I can conclude that in average, I solved 691 divided by 231, 3 problems per hour. From the figure below, you can see the days that I spent in 1 year and submission intensity for each day. So this guy's gangsta, right? Like, he spent a year doing this stuff. He basically is saying right here, he spent a lot of time in the last year, over 1,500 submissions in the last year, preparing to pass an interview. I'm not knocking this guy. This is his dream. At the same time, but I want to stress the numbers here. For most of us, we are not going to be working at Google for our first job. And all of that time, we could have been employed by now. If we would have spent a year working on LeetCode stuff, working on code forces stuff, we could have already been employed. We could have already been learning on the job and getting paid to learn. Problems in 1 hour. Look at all these charts. This guy's boss. This is kind of boss. Hours of listening to theory, 38. And you know what's so sad? This is a problem created by the fangs. This person has invested hundreds, thousands of hours total, not just in the last year, in total of his life, just trying to get through the doors of Google. He can never have that time back. Oh my gosh, and all these charts. But here's the interesting part. I love the comments. When newspapers and different media outlets turn off the comments, I know the story is really good. And I'm surprised, actually, there are so many interesting comments here. I'm surprised that the comment section is still open. So when I saw this, I'm like, the comment section is still open. Just give it a few hours, give it a few days, because this is a really interesting narrative from this person who submitted this blog post. So this guy says up here, the top comment, you may now join an Intel agency, great tracking skills. Now look at this. I found this comment particularly interesting. There's no doubt that LeetCode has made me a better programmer. However, I feel like the interview methods are just glorified general aptitude tests that really only tell you how strong someone's computer science background is, rather than how good they are at the job they will be hired for. Being self-taught, my computer software background is patchy, or computer science, sorry. My computer science background is patchy on subjects that I've not had to tackle, so I struggle on some of the problems. After facing many interviews in the same vein as Google's infamous process and failing, I recently interviewed with Walmart. And the entire interview was tailored to the skill set required of the job, which I crushed with no problem at all. I write simple, while algorithms with async await to demonstrate my understanding of the main problem they had given me, and the tech interviewers were pleased with my approach. I was notified immediately that I was the top candidate, and in 1 week's time, they extended me the job offer. Don't be discouraged by employers like Google and these trendy little startups that copy their approach. There are companies out there that will hire you for your real-world skills and will pay you top dollar. I mean, he said it. You know, he said it. This person said, wow, I'm amazed at the amount of hateful comments. Interview prep varies from person to person. And that's a great point too. It does vary from person to person. We had an amazingly talented group, a duo on the other day on the live, Lucen and Adam. Oh my gosh. They are just, that was one of the best live streams. That was one of the best and funnest videos I've ever been a part of. And they were focusing on a specific type of interview. When we did the mock interviews with Carlos and Michael, when Lucen was on the first time, that was a certain type of technical interview. That's one type. There is the possibility that your employer will engage in that interview. There's also a big possibility that they won't. So for my newbies, for my aspiring devs, one of the best things you can do is plan for your future. I know that's no one could tell me that a few years ago. Like, yeah, thanks for the support, loser. Like, don't tell me what to do. If you plan for your future, your mind starts working in ways even when you're not thinking. It's non-cerebral. And you get these ideas in your head and you start visualizing where you want to be. And then you start thinking about, I don't think I want to work for a company that uses PHP, or I don't think I want to work for a digital agency, or maybe you do want to work for a digital agency. And that really lets you prepare. When you discover what type of employer you want to work for, that really helps you prepare. And for some of us, for a sliver of us, this book is a godsend. I mean, this is a really good freaking book. It has so much information, like real world info on the hiring process for Microsoft, Google, the FANGs. This is a 700-page encyclopedia. This is the Bible of coding interview prep. And it's a great freaking book. But it's totally impractical for most of us. Let's go to the comments. I've been babbling long enough. 83 people in the chat. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, give me a little love with the like button, please. It helps me make more videos like this. Let's go to the comments. Hey, Sarah, how's it going? Good seeing you here. She says, people in my boot camp thought they were going to be in camp for 12 weeks, then get out and go straight to Google or some top company, but no one could solve the morning algorithm problems. Yeah, and that's a good point, because people may see this video and think, wow, you're a rube. You don't encourage people to go solve these problems. Look, it's on the record. Data structures and algorithms are of critical importance. So don't get it twisted. Data structures and algorithms are the crux, the core of what we do. No data structures and algorithms, no internet, no web-based application, none of it. No PCs, no laptops, none of it. Data structures and algorithms are of utmost importance. The way we learn them and the way we apply them varies. And sites like HackerRank and LeetCode are one of those variations of that theme. So that is I'm glad Sarah mentioned that. Like the morning algorithms, most of us do have a problem with data structures and algorithms because they're difficult, right? They're not something that we engage in daily. Like we don't write algorithms until we start learning computer science and start playing with this stuff and building projects and stuff. It's not something we do when we make breakfast, Michael Kornblum says, I'd rather create tools that other devs find useful. Popk Dodge says, honestly, I'd rather work for a financial company than FANG. A lot of those financial companies are pretty, Wells Fargo, there is a list of people. There is a list of employers here, and I saw a few financial. I'm not trying to scare you. This isn't like, beware. I'm just saying the bigger financial companies, a lot of times they do use stuff like LeetCode. And you can actually, which site is it? Is it HackerRank? On HackerRank, I think employers can also sign up for fees. Like all this stuff on HackerRank for users, for students or whatever you want to call us, it's free. Like all this stuff free of charge. But employers can also come on and they can see your score. And I think they can contact you, or you can apply to them if you pass their metrics or something, or reach their ideal metrics. I don't know. I haven't made it too far in HackerRank. I just have been exploring it because I don't have dreams of working at a FANG. This is not stuff I use on a daily basis when I'm doing software development. It's not my segment, If it was, yeah, I'd probably be doing regex exercises. But when I do need to use regex, when I do need to compute something or solve a problem, I'm usually Googling it. And I'm usually not building things from scratch because we have libraries and frameworks that have already solved these problems. Let's go to the comments. Thank you for showing some love in the likes, people. Great seeing you. Sakajawa says, I wouldn't recommend grinding LeetCode for your first job. I would recommend getting real-world software engineer experience before trying it. That's an option too. The thing with these sites also is that they're really popular with like, what are some, with like Twitch. I've seen some Twitch streamers do these, also on YouTube, and they're fun, right? Like they can be fun entertainment, especially watching other people grind through them. But then some of us are thinking, well, all these people are working on code wars and doing these katas and stuff. Maybe, should I do these? I mean, absolutely explore them. But as far as getting to like, just like hacking through it, getting some on-the-job experience is probably going to help you a lot more because you're going to have a better problem-solving process. And, you know, that thing like we were looking at on Code Wars, they gave me a challenge before I could sign up, but the challenge is so ubiquitous that I could just Google it and get the answer in half a second. And it really, electricity follows the path of least resistance. I'm not going to spend a half hour trying to figure out a problem if I can just Google it and get the thumbs up and get the point, you know? Let's go to these comments. Lots of new people here. AFC123 says, they're only fun until you get stuck. Michael Corwin says, man, I was out of practice with my katas during the Lucent interview. Michael, I'm so glad you came on for that interview. That was such... I just had a great time with that, and I think a lot of people really enjoyed it because we don't see a lot of that type of content on YouTube or any other video platform. Paradoodly-doo, share the link. So for those of you who missed it, about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, we did a video where an experienced interviewer and engineer did a technical interview with two real junior developers. Michael Kornblum was one of them, and Carlos was the other. And it was probably like an hour, maybe hour and a half. But we're in the coder pad, and you can see them working through these solutions, working through these problems. They collaborated to solve some of the problem. It was a really interesting interview, and we also had some follow-ups. So Marcus the One says, I'll only do that to post on YouTube and get some views. Probably labeling how much did I suck on online tests and post a nice thing face. Julio says, these are fun and all, but I'm not a fan of this interview style because you learn to be good at these types of problems, but it doesn't teach you how to actually build or maintain projects. Yeah, and I'm curious, I wish I could find a Google interviewer. I've been trying to expand my claws and get into the secrets of some of these fangs, or at least, you know, the well-known secrets that need to be advertised a little more. I want to talk more about these people and like maybe get into their minds if they're able to talk about it. I'm not even sure. But instead of me just being like, well, according to their website, A, B, and C, like I want to hear it from the babe's mouth. You know, I want to hear what they really have to say about their interview process and the rationale behind it. That would be awesome. By the way, I'm getting a DevOps person to come on the channel. We're going to talk about DevOps, everything you wanted to know. Pretty excited for that one too. I saw Candace was here. Candace! What's going on? A pharmaceutical company that focuses on AI didn't ask any LeetCode problems. They were more focused on my experience and some AI and machine learning. Right. And that is almost the typical interview for most of us. Employers want to know they're going to be hiring someone who knows how to solve their problems. That's it. But because everyone and their little sister wants to work at Google, they put in these roadblocks. This dude spent many hours of his life because he has a dream of working at Google. And I hope he gets it. Like, I seriously, with his grind, and if, you know, he has the other skills, if he has the soft skills, the communication, the problem solving, I hope he achieves his dream. And he can. He certainly can. But it is such a terrible, if you're just using the coding test alone to measure someone's capabilities on the job, I think that employer might be in for a rude awakening. But Google and the FANGs, they do lots of rounds of interviews. They're extracting as much as they can about you for their purposes. Let's check this out. This is an article written by an employer, I believe, or this was a secondhand account, perhaps. I didn't read the whole thing. This was published on LinkedIn. It's called Beware of HackerRank. I'm not going to read this entire thing, but just to give you a flavor of the varying of how people think about these types of interviews and these types of interview prep sites. Because there are some sites, some of us do enjoy competitive coding. And I think that is much different than a site like HackerRank, because HackerRank has the employer element built into it. Competitive coding usually doesn't. They're usually, soda and pizza type of events, or these obscure websites you haven't heard of, loose communities of people just hacking through or competing for $500 or whatever. Competitive coding is something that a lot of people enjoy, and they do. It's like a sport, or like fantasy football or something. They're putting their skills on display, and they're moving up in ranks to claim the title of bomb coder. But this is just another variation, because it is competitive. Like HackerRank is competitive. LeetCode is competitive because you do get points. Like, I think they gave me points just for signing the frig up. They gave me points. I got a LeetCoin reward for uploading an avatar +5. I also got 10 LeetCoins for connecting my GitHub. Like, seriously? And they have contests here too. But they also, the way they make their money, a lot of these platforms, HackerRank, LeetCode, is by the employers. And I'm not sure if it's LeetCode or HackerRank, but the employer can actually give out coding challenges they can do remote interviews. I think it might be HackerRank. Let me go to the homepage here. Once you sign up as a student or coder, they don't let you access the employer side of things. But I'm pretty sure it is HackerRank. Yeah, because HackerRank's totally free for us, but for employers, you got to cough up that money. And they give the employer coding interview environments for virtual interviews. But let's go back to this. Beware of HackerRank, Richard says. A colleague of mine recently told me that he was testing potential candidates using HackerRank and asked that I give his test a go. Why not, I thought. I've hired a lot of developers, and I've been coding for a long, long time. And have used C# since 2001. It should be simple. You can imagine I was a little miffed when my colleague forwarded my results to find I had scored a pathetic 53 out of 105. So at the time of the publication, at the time of this article's publication, this dude had been coding in C# for 14 years. 14 years. And he got a 53 out of 105. Oh, I wouldn't even bother interviewing you with that score, my colleague happily announced. After the initial, oh no, I'm rubbish, had worn off and bruised my ego, had recovered, I took a look at the results to see where I had gone so badly wrong. The test comprised of 9 questions, 7 which were multiple choice, and 2 actual coding problems. The multi-choice questions were truly awful. They consisted of a question along the lines of, which of these are valid C#, and then 5 snippets of code that can't be copied from the site. So you are effectively playing spell checker. The errors in the code were along the lines of missing semicolons or dropped method modifiers. In my entire development life, I can't imagine a situation where it would have been an advantage having someone on my team that can spot a line of code that an IDE would balk at before I even press compile. Exactly. And he says, let me make this 100% clear. That kind of testing is pointless. I do not need developers who can successfully code in Notepad. I need creative thinkers. This is the same as criticizing J.K. Rowling's skill at storytelling due to her prowess at spelling, i.e., pointless. Fortunately, these questions carried 5 marks each. So this guy's miffed, right? Here's how he failed. As with most development problems, the question had a number of possible solutions. Their scoring system was utilizing 11 test cases to assess your solution. There was no indication of scores being attached to these tests. I finished the test in 42 minutes. The limit was 75. Here's what he says. Here's the conclusion. the TL kind of DR. My takeaway from all this is that HackerRank is a poor indicator of a developer's problem-solving capabilities, and like so many of these things, is really only good at assessing one thing, namely, how good the candidate is at completing HackerRank tests. I will not be using HackerRank to test any potential candidates. I'm not recommending it. If you want good developers, you need to assess other things. Are they creative? Do they write good, clean, solid code? Do they understand coding patterns? Can they work with other team members? Do they add to the team? Do they understand the trade-offs between speed and maintainability? None of that can be found on HackerRank. As with all things, be careful what you measure for. That is what you will get. If you're looking for human spell checkers, HackerRank is for you. Man, this is a screed. This guy is PO'd. He has been coding in C# for 14 years, and he failed the HackerRank challenges. This guy, and there's 225 comments here. We're not obviously gonna get through them all. The top comment here is, just had a gruesome experience on HackerRank. The first few tests went fine, but from test 5 onwards, it crashed with a segmentation fault. Yeah, probably a mix of comments here, if I had to guess, because these sites are really divisive. Just say HackerRank and people are like, yeah, HackerRank, and some people are like, yeah, HackerRank sucks. There really is no middle ground for a lot of developers, and I understand why. But there are, I want to be totally fair though. For some of us, these sites are a godsend. If we are trying to transform into dolphins and pop through the Google hoop, pop through the Amazon hoop. If that's our dream, these sites are awesome. Because before, who really knew what they were going to ask? Now we do. By the way, as I mentioned earlier, I think this is a good book for people for the segment. It's a great book for the segment of people it's catered to. It's written for. Paradoodly-doo, pop that link. We just had a review go up, a comprehensive review of this book. We have samples, we have bespoke photos on that article from this book. We have a complete breakdown. It's a huge article if you're wondering what this book is all about. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. It's on the 6th edition. I'm sure she is working on the 7th to be released sometime in the near future. No doubt about it. Great comments today, everyone. Developers, this room is en fuego. AFC says, it's boring as well. Like, it's just a question, you're not actually doing something code with it. Yeah, that's a great point too. Some of us enjoy these challenges because they're just like bite-sized, boop, 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 solve this, solve this, solve this. And it does get us going because it is competitive. I consider myself I am a very competitive person. Like, it's just genetic. So I can see the draw to this. When your points are adding up, you're going up the leaderboard, you're like, yes, I got the question right. I am the coding goddess. I can see how you get sucked into it because they are just like, boom, boom, boom. Okay, easy, I got these easies. Yeah, knock out a mediums. And you just get sucked into that pattern. But as this person said, was it ABC? AFC123 said, you can't do anything with them. You can't build a project. You certainly can't put these questions in a portfolio. You certainly can't go to the JavaScript basic, 10 days of JavaScript. Well, maybe 10 days of JavaScript, maybe. I don't want to speak too soon here, but going to the problem-solving questions, you can't put any of this stuff into a portfolio. You can't put these 600 problems this guy did. What does this person, now as impressive as his study time is, what does someone like this person have to really show for? If he's taking a big risk. He's taking a big risk because these types of things that he's studying are not applicable on the job. And if he doesn't pass the Google interview, all of this was a 100% waste. Because you will never rotate a 2D matrix 90 degrees clockwise on the job. You'll just never do it. It just isn't. It just isn't. It's total trivia. And I mean, this guy is taking a real risk. That's why I say I hope he achieves his dream, because if he doesn't, it's gonna be, I'd be in bed for months eating pizza. Not that I don't do that as is, but I'm just saying that kind of thing is a life changer. So here they're publishing different questions. The last stone weight solution has been, okay, so that's a solution. I guess they're publishing solutions. 4 days ago, the number of submatrices that sum to target solution has been published. The best time to buy and sell stock 3 solution. It just, wow. I mean, this site, this LeetCode, so HackerRank brags like 7 million people. That's a lot. There's 7 million people using this site. LeetCode has probably, I don't remember the numbers. This is a pretty popular site too. But there's also like Coder Chef. The UX UI on that site is a little 90s. It's a little 90s, but they have contests. And that's the other thing. If you're interested in checking these sites out and you have the skills, they do monthly contests. Or this one, LeetCode does weekly contests. Coder Chef, I think, does monthly contests. HackerRank, not sure. But there is money in being competitive. Right now, HackerRank is #1 from Belarus. He has 2,961 points. And you can check out the different, this is just kind of cool. You can see the algorithm contests and different, they have a ton of different contests: math, functional programming, AI, algorithms and stuff. Jamie Shackelford with the dual super chat. James, sorry James, I called you Jamie. I can never get anyone's name right on this channel. Thank you for the super chat. Thanks for mentioning App Academy. I love that site. You're certainly welcome. App Academy, for those who are not aware, they have a sister site called App Academy Open, and they have totally made free their in-person coding bootcamp curriculum. And I know I've told the story so many times. I waited a year to review that site because I was expecting the worst. Most free stuff that I go over is not very good. It doesn't make sense for me to review something for like 20 minutes or a half hour if it sucks, right? Like that's kind of disingenuous. So I finally looked at it and I was like, this is actually really good. If you're interested in getting the bootcamp curriculum, it's the same one they use at their in-person bootcamp. I was impressed. They have videos, they teach data structures and algorithms. Some of the best videos I've seen on the free tier, probably the best I've seen on the free tier for intro to data structures and algorithms. Check that out. Like I said, it's open to everyone. Just Google App Academy Open and you can sign up. It takes like a minute. James Shackelford, also, what do you think of learning from Code Academy? Well, this is funny because Code Academy is, they picked the worst, #1, they picked the worst name. No one, I think it's Code Academy. It's just like, every time we talk about Code Academy, we're like, yeah, what do you think of Code Academy? Code Academy, whatever you want to call it. It's good for beginners. What I liked about it is that the basic stuff's free, and also it is really easy to just start learning. Now, when I was using it, this was a couple years ago, I didn't even have to sign up. You could just click, start using their interactive code editors and get to it and just rock and roll with it. I think it has, it has a shelf life for the typical developer because their stuff is catered to, it caters to beginners. And once you hit that point, you're just like, okay, this isn't cutting it. For the real basics, I think it's great. I actually like Code Academy, but because it does focus on a very specific type of developer, that is like an aspiring developer or a very new developer. I don't talk about it all that much. So, and eventually you're going to outgrow it. That's maybe what I should say. I think it's a good site, but you're going to probably outgrow it very quickly. Thanks for the super chat. Again, good questions, good comments. King, I thought you said Coke Zero. He says Code Zero. Yes, I like Visual Studio better. Java will have more legacy apps and also Spring Framework. Awesome freaking live chat, people. It is totally lit. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, and you are enjoying the topics that we talk about in these lives, consider subscribing. Also consider hitting the like button if you haven't, so we can continue to have these just absolutely engaging live streams. Still going through some comments here. New people arriving. We also have some people who have been here from the start. Shout out to Candace, one of my Patreon supporters. She's doing it all. She is living her best life. Recently earned her PhD. In talks with Facebook, about to interview. I don't know. Candace, have you done that video interview with them yet? But she's doing it all. And we're all stuck in quarantine right now, and she's still like, some of you developers are absolutely freaking inspiring. The days I don't want to do anything, I'm like, well, my subscribers is like making the best life possible for themselves. I should probably start taking a hint. Chris Butler, what's going on? Kyler Stu says, it's a choice as a freelancer, make actual money or bet that these will be worth the loss in hourly wage. What are we talking? Are we talking about freelancing? I got to get hip to this chat. GTD, how is it going? Thanks for your support. Thanks for your Patreon upgrade the other day. I think the idea of the interview giving these questions is to see if the candidates have done their homework with them, as well if they know the comp sci fundamentals before getting into the abstract. It also weeds out the slackers. By the way, working at FANG has been compared to living in a gilded cage. Yeah, and it's funny you say that. When we Google, so like I said earlier in this video, I'm not anti-Google from an employment point of view. However, I think there is a really perverse idea of the lifestyle at the FANGs. These are high stress areas. These are high stress jobs. These are high stress work environments. What do we see? What do we see when we type in a day in the life of a Google engineer, a day in the life at whatever startup? They've been around for 10 years, but they're still called a startup. What do we see? We see cute dogs. We see food. We see people rocking the earbuds, maybe fake typing. Developers, that is not the reality of these jobs. They're very stressful. There is a lot of pressure. And if you're a creative thinker, they're not looking for that. They are a business. They're doing a lot of crazy cool things, but they need people to adhere to their standards. So for people who love being creative, it's usually not a good job. It's usually not a good fit. They're tough jobs. Some critiques of the FANGs do get through, and I don't know if it's a marketing budget that these FANGs have to like push these types of, oh, this is the greatest job ever. Like people I know in my network who work at Google, they work. They're stressed. Not all of them, but it is if you're making $250,000 a year, if you're making $300,000 a year, you have a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of pressure to perform, and it's definitely not for everyone. Some people love it though. I mean, there are some people who are just like, dude, I love what I do. But as far as just the standard of like buffet, all you can eat, that is, there's definitely a negative side to these companies as well. If you're making, like I said, if you're making $250,000 a year or more, you have a lot of responsibilities, and with those responsibilities comes a lot of stress. So take up meditation and get that money. James Shackelford, I am reading your comment for the second time. Let's go down here and see. Sarah, back at it in the chat. All day in a life of a dev are them eating, working out, taking a nap, and eating again. Yeah, I mean, they're totally fake. They're totally fake. And that's not to throw shade on them as creators. I don't know them. They're getting their money. They're doing their thing. That's cool. I'm just saying that it's a fantasy. It's entertainment. And I guess YouTube is a good platform for these types of videos because YouTube is an entertainment platform, but they're just not real. Suburban Black Boy Radio. I just bought your resume Udemy class. I'm stoked to start, and I am not interested in working for a FANG. Awesome. I'm glad you purchased that, and I thank you for investing in that, and I hope it serves you well. 74 people in the chat right now. Thanks for joining us on this wonderful Sunday. Happy Easter to my peeps. If you're interested in talking more about LeetCode and these interview things, we talk about it all. The prime focus of this channel is to share and help people level up in an entertaining way. Yet we like to have fun, of course. I'm all about the goofs, but there is also a serious side to the channel, and that's to help people just achieve their dreams and just level up. Maybe you don't have a dream right now. That's totally fine too. If you're not interested in leveling up, we also provide a very robust community here on the live streams and in the Discord. Paradoodly-doo, please pop that Discord link for all to enjoy. We're almost at 1,000 members in our Discord, our little community. We have a room for portfolios if you want to get some feedback on that. Unfortunately, I can't look over them all, even though I'd love to. Maybe someday, if I'm able to do this on a full-time basis, I can help more people that way. But we do have so many people there who are willing to help and share their knowledge. It's just a really fun community. We have a place where you can show your GitHub. We have a meme room, a recipe room, and so many others. Let's go to the comments. Frank Zhu popping in with that super chat. Thank you, Frank, for your support. Love your stuff, RTC. Keep it up. I appreciate that, Frank. Some days, I mean, I have to be totally honest. There are some days where I'm just like, what is this even? Should I even be making videos? But then I get DMs, I get emails, I get communication from all these developers from around the world. I'm like, yes, this is a good thing. Let's keep rocking it. There is really a big community element with this channel. And that is one of my favorite parts about it. It's what honestly keeps me doing these videos. And it's not just about Queen RTC, like preaching the gospel of software development, because there are so many segments to it. And everyone's feedback, your messages that you share help me make better content, and they just make things more interesting. So Paradoodly, pop the Discord. Alex G says, are these sites a good way of deepening your code knowledge and understanding? Forget about the money. I think, well, I mean, I have to be fair here. There was a guy, was it on LeetCode? I don't know where it was. That article we were reading where the guy solved 600 problems. One of the people, the guy who got hired at Walmart, said it helped him become a better programmer. That said, there are a lot of materials and a lot of resources that can help you become a better programmer. What kind of programmer do you want to be? Maybe start with that. If your eyes are on Google, if your eyes are on Facebook, get your butt to LeetCode and see what they're saying. Get your butt to cracking the coding interview and read the Google portion. Learn Java, maybe. This is the funniest part about this book, is that nowhere is it noted that this entire thing, with the exception of chapter 12, is written in Java. And like, dude, seriously? Chapter 12 is in C and C++. But it's like, man, I would love a 7th edition to have various languages, but then it would be an encyclopedic series with a beautiful slipcase. Let's go to the comments here. Michael Kornblum saying he will be throwing a voice chat after party on Discord once the live stream ends. Yeah, Michael Kornblum has been rocking the voice chat in the Discord. It is totally underutilized, but Michael is there holding the flame. He's holding the torch in the voice chat and keeping people in good spirits. Shout out to Michael Kornblum and everyone working retail right now. Shout out, of course, to our medical community all around the world. If you have someone in your family or a friend who's in medical right now, text them. Write them a quick email or a long one and tell them thanks. Like, they're rocking it right now. People in retail are rocking it. They're putting their health and lives in jeopardy. So shout out to Sarah, shout out to Michael, and everyone else working retail right now too. Great comments in the freaking chat. Ben Riley with the super chat. Thank you, my friend. Hey, can't stay long, but I wanted to throw something your way. Plus, would you interview Joshua Fluke? Does Joshua Fluke still do tech stuff? I mean, I'm interested in interviewing pretty much anyone if they can add value to the channel and further the goal of this channel, which is to help people level up and succeed in software development. Give me the status. Give me the status. I mean, I'll have anyone on the channel as long as it relates to the theme. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for the super chat. Yeah, developers, it's 6:35, and I think the message has been delivered on this channel. Are competitive coding sites a waste of time? For many of us, yes, they're a huge opportunity cost. That isn't to say you shouldn't explore them if you're interested. I mean, check them out. Uh, but like anything, though, don't get hooked if your eyes aren't set on a FANG. And I want to note that there is a difference between purely competitive coding and a site like HackerRank, which is deeply involved in connecting employers with developers, with engineers who succeed with these types of problems. For those of us seeking a FANG role, there are many different ways you can prep. You don't have to use these. A lot of these are free, so that could be a good start. There's also Algo Experts, Clement's relatively new platform. I think it's been around for like 2 years now, 1 or 2 years. Recently published a review on that. Paradoodly, do you have that link to RealToughCandy.com for the Algo Expert review? That's a cool platform. He has like 60 hours of video where he explains step by step, and it's a 2-part video where he gives a kind of a comprehensive overview of the challenge, and then he shows you the implementation for that entire solution video. And they're like 40-minute videos. I was really impressed with that platform. That was another one where I'm just like, yeah, okay, it's just another one in the mix. But I think he's got a good thing going on. Paradoodly, pop that link. Developers, I want to thank you for tuning in. Shout out to James, Frank, and Ben for the super chat. I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. We're going to be doing these every night. I'm going to try to. I always put that disclaimer. We're going to try to do these every night until we #flatten the curve. Maybe some premieres thrown in, but there's just so much to discuss and so much to do. I'll see you later. Peace out. Have a good one.